All right. Oh my God. I love that music. I know everyone always loves it. It really gets me pumped up at 10 a.m. in the morning when I really just want to be taking a nap. But we're here with Decode with Riley, and today we're
Hi,
going to be talking about notification inboxes for user activity. Hi, Riley. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I totally would rather be in bed still, but it's okay.
Exactly. My name is Shreya. I am your host of this weekly live workshop series called Decode, where we talk about all things notifications and we bring engineers from all over the world and from Courier to talk a little bit about what it takes to build a solid notification system. Riley, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and just like introduce us about the type of work that you do at Courier?
Yeah, I'm Riley. I am an engineer here at Courier, and for the last couple of years, I've been really focusing on our embedded project, which is bringing Courier technology to other people's websites, kind of like a white labeling thing. Specifically, we've been working on Inbox a lot lately and working on different ways to send messages to your browser, because a lot of times delivering messages to a browser, there's things like browser push and mobile push, but a lot of times you have to those are really difficult to integrate. And the inbox for us is a relatively easy thing to integrate. So that's what we're going to be walking through today.
Awesome. And Riley, I believe that you're one of our first engineers working at Courier. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience being here for the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's really cool to go from working in an attic to now being on our third office and having snacks in the office, which is great. We were in the attic of a bookstore and there were no windows for a while, and I thought I was crazy for taking the job, but so far so good, and we are still here and we are doing great.
That's crazy. In 4 years, you can go from an attic to windows and snacks, guys.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how you know when you've made it.
and plants, and we have plenty of plants in the office too, which is wonderful.
And plants. We do have awesome plants at our office. Awesome. We're going to post a few pictures of our office on our Instagram. So go ahead and check that out at some point. But today we're going to talk about notifications with Inbox. So this is the first time we're actually showing Inbox in our live streams. So can you tell us a little bit about what that experience looks like? And then we'll just dive right into this project.
Yeah, so really you can kind of think of it as like a history of messages that somebody has been sent, similar to like, your Gmail inbox. But we support different actions like read, unread, archive. And really, we also support toasts. So if a new message comes in, we do support the ability to pop up a message to say something has happened. Supports unread indicators to let you know that there are messages, and that can be configured to either show a number or just show a dot. And we have a lot of really cool plans for the future. So stay tuned.
Awesome. We have Maria joining us from YouTube saying hi. Hi, Maria. And we also have Fuel's Navel joining from Twitch. This is our first time live streaming on Twitch. So hopefully that experience is good for you guys. Thank you so much, Fuel. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share your screen, Riley. So if you don't mind just removing the StreamYard part, and then we'll go and get started. And we have Tejas saying hello, hello. Where's Blue? That's the question.
Blue Bear. She'll show up eventually and tell me she's hungry. So
she'll take her time. she's the real star of the show this week.
Right.
All right. Let's go ahead. And so, okay, if you've been here in the last few live streams, you've seen this e-commerce website that Segment went and made for their demos, and we've been using it for our demos as well. So thank you. Shout out to Segment and for Ben for sharing this with us. We are now going to take this to the next step and integrate Inbox today. So Riley, do you mind sort of telling us what it takes? Like, what changes do we have to make to our code to prepare this project for Inbox?
There's a couple of things we need to think about when it comes to integrating that. So the first thing we might want to do is jump over to our docs.courier.com and check out our inbox section here.
Awesome. Could you like Command plus just like zoom in a little bit? Since StreamYard just like squishes everything and makes it smaller. Awesome. Maybe like a couple more would be great. And while you're doing that, Maria said came for Blue and stayed for Inbox. And that really is all of us today.
So here we kind of talk about the inbox, and these are some of the things that we had talked about before: message list, badge counts, filters, real-time updates, and eventing. And what we really want to do is we want to get started with our React components, because that's essentially the app here that we have. Let me make this bigger too. The app that we have over here is also a React application. So we're going to be using the Courier's React. We do also support kind of framework agnostic components, but we want to focus on our React components. So
all right.
Inbox is what we want.
Really quickly, sorry for cutting you off, Riley. We had a question that's Phil's asking, what is Courier?
So Courier is a notifications platform. You can think of it as like notifications as a service. If you have, used functions as a service, software as a service, it's essentially giving you access to notification APIs that you can integrate into your system and allow you to kind of get the power of Courier, which is going to be routing, notification designers, logs, automations, audiences, basically a whole plethora of different things that you would want to do when it comes to building out a notification platform. Note this is specifically for transactional notifications. Things for like marketing notifications are better suited for things like conversion rate, conversion tracking, and those things are not built in as first-class citizens into Courier. So it's basically, I have events in my system like logged in, products on sale, product order completed. You have a one-on-one coming up, basically just the events that happen in your system. And then you want to trigger an email, a text, a inbox message to get sent out. Courier was your one-stop shop to get all that stuff done.
Exactly. I really like talking about user engagement from like a developer's perspective, because you don't really want to spend so much time trying to like send people notification, try to get them use your app. But at the end of the day, when you're building a product, you want people to use that app, right? Like you want people to engage with it. Like you're building a solution for something, and people will often just download an app and forget that it exists. So notifications are a really valuable way to make sure that people keep coming back to it. But you also don't want to spend like hours and hours over months trying to build your own notification system from scratch. So that's what Courier offers. That's a really great question, Phil. Thanks for asking, and let us know if you have any other follow-up questions. All right, Riley, go ahead and continue talking about
it. It did
Inbox.
remind me of one thing, and this is what an old CEO that I had used to talk about a lot. Because we used to do e-commerce as a service, e-commerce platform, and our old CEO used to talk about the difference between core and critical. And usually when you are building something, you're building your core platform. So you're like an app that does like human resources and like performance reviews. So your core is going to be keeping people engaged, keeping notes, doing things like that. But the critical part of that is going to be notifying people of different things that are happening. So you have your core and your critical, and you should never give away your core, but you could definitely give away your critical to help you focus on your core. So I like to think of things as what's your core, what's your critical. Notifications are critical, might not be your core. They are our core. We have plenty of critical things that we do not build ourselves that we rely on other people for. So
Exactly. I
cool.
love that. I'm actually going to steal that next time I talk about Courier.
Well, I stole it, so I feel free to steal it. Okay, so here we're at our documentation of Courier, how to get started, and we'll see that with Courier we have two components we really want to focus on, maybe probably three here, but for now where we want to think about, we have our Courier provider, which is going to basically be the component that holds all of our state and then gives us access to our APIs. And then we have our inbox, which is going to be the UI that is related to all of the inbox, different things like that. So these are the two components that we need. So if we're on inbox, we basically will have a script here, and we will basically add our provider. So we can come over here. This is our e-commerce segment demo site. You can see here, and then we will yarn add Courier provider, and then
You might need to zoom into the VS Code as well.
I did.
Yeah.
A little bit. Let's do some more.
Yeah, I think the monitor just like shrinks everything up a bit.
That's why I usually don't use the monitor.
Yeah.
But, okay. So we install the provider, and then we install the inbox. And installing the Courier inbox and stuff is really, really easy. And so what we want to do here is after we've done this, we probably need to talk about, let's look at the Courier provider. The Courier provider, as we can see here, has two properties that we need to pass into it. And you'll see here, if we're talking about authentication, we have a bunch of different authentications things here to help you basically lock in the authorization to your inbox. When you first get started, we don't have any auth. This is to help people get started. So we're going to be focusing on building with no auth. Later, we can talk about building into JSON web tokens to really scope the ability for people to grab exactly only what they need. So if we're looking here at the Courier provider, make sure you've installed the Courier provider into your workspace. So if we jump over here.
I have a real quick question about the auth part of it.
Yeah.
If you decide not to use auth and you have like a production ready app that's being used by like 100 people, what does that mean? What's going to happen?
So everything will work fine. The problem that you will see is that if somebody knows somebody else's user ID, they could go request messages from a different user, which is why we really encourage you to lock down your auth before going to production. And that's kind of what our guide over here is talking about authentication. And we do say before going to production, you should implement stricter authentication as described below. So that's where JSON web tokens, because they say that, hey, only give me access to this user ID, and this user ID can only read messages and write events. And that's what you really want to be doing when you go to production. Especially if you're sending potentially sensitive information to users, you don't want that stuff to leak. But to get up and running, we do allow it to be wide open.
Yeah, I imagine like if you have shipping updates or something, and then someone's able to just like grab the location of your order. Yeah.
Okay, so here this is a Courier provider, Courier channel. This basically allows sending to inboxes and push and toast notifications. So here we can go here and click add. This saves it. And then what we want here, if we're going back to the Courier provider, is that we want the client key. So the client key is a public-facing key and can be found over here. So this is a public key. This basically just identifies your workspace. So we will copy, since we've installed it, let's actually copy. Let's get these guys. Want these two. And if we're looking at our app over here, I'm thinking that we either want to put our inbox over here by the cart, or maybe over here in this slide. Let's put over here by the cart. So to find the cart, I think it is in the header over here. Actually, let me close this. Okay, so we're over here in the header. We'll see that here is our cart, and we want to put it right next to it. So if we plop our Courier provider and our Courier inbox in here, it should be as simple as grabbing this,
Awesome.
doing that. So grab our client key here, plop that guy over here, and then user ID. I think that the user ID for this example is Courier test, maybe.
Yep.
Courier
So
test.
your user ID would be the way that you've added your users within Courier. Actually, Riley, do you mind showing the users page in the Courier workspace just so that people can see it?
So here we have
And you
Courier.
might need to zoom into this page as well a little bit. Thank you. Awesome.
Is it zoom by tab? Is that what it is?
It might be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we basically the user ID that you pass into the Courier provider has to match with a user in our system. You don't technically need to have a user in our system, but the user that you're sending to has to match here, or else obviously this is just identifies who we're delivering it to. And then obviously the Courier user ID will be your user ID in your system. We do not create user IDs at all. We just rely on the same user that you have, and also do not use emails as your user ID because people change their emails, or a lot of systems allow changing an email, and that would make things very confusing for you if you created a user with your email and then they changed it later.
Yeah, I think the example at the bottom is really good, where it's just like a bunch of numbers and other characters.
The UUID. Okay, so now we added a Courier provider. So this user ID is most likely going to come from an API call. I don't think that this example application has authentication built into it, so that's what we have this hard coded. And this should also be an environment variable as well, because we do also support the concepts of test environment. So if you did have a staging environment for your e-commerce store, you could, create, use our, we have a test key as well. So if you jump over here, you'll see that there's a test key down here that you can also use to interact with.
Awesome.
So we have,
real quick, I think Suhas mentioned that we have a client SDK to allow updating user profiles now. Suhas, if you're still online, do you mind sharing the link to that SDK just so everyone else can check that out? Thank you so much. Awesome. Riley. Yeah.
We are in dev. Okay. So we are in dev that. I think that this inbox is going to be on top of the cart, so we might have to flex it. Yeah, so that's on top. Let me just.
It's not the prettiest, but it's there. The inbox looks gorgeous, though. I love how simplistic it is compared to what we had before. Also, if you guys don't know, we just launched like a new version of Inbox this week, and we'll share the links to our launch blog post if you want to know more about what's different this time in the chat.
Let me see here. 3 point.
Oh, did something go wrong?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. There's a rendered message there. I think that I was playing around with custom rendering the inbox stuff. Okay. I don't see it. Let's try.
Fuelsnable said, isomorphic unfetch. That name makes my mind go blank. I don't even know what that means. So same. Riley, do you know what that means?
I don't know what unfetch means.
Okay. I'm going to try to Google it, but I probably don't think I'm going to understand it anyway.
Is there like a weird caching that is happening here? Let me think here. Maybe I need to do a yarn build.
And for context, we were using this project to sort of like prepare for the live stream. So it might have some of the changes that we tried to build before. So we're just going to try to rebuild it and make sure that the website isn't getting confused.
Okay.
Is the 3.0.1 version like the most current version that people should be using right now?
Yeah, I'm confused though about.
All right. Worst case, if this doesn't work, we can try to maybe reclone the original website. That's always my go-to move.
It's weird because this is the same version here, so I
Yeah.
don't entirely.
So that's what it should look like for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like some cache on this Next.js app that is doing something funky. Okay. Okay, so we have.
Oh, you got it. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so let's clean those up. Okay, so now we have our inbox over here, and we are back here. So we want to basically put these on top of each other. So let's just add flex, and then let's give this a little box to put it around, and then do class name is equal to p-2, and then I think pt. That's just putting some padding around it, just kind of making it look a little bit prettier. And cool. And maybe a padding right for. We have our inbox over here.
Oh, that looks so much better. Nice.
Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to come up with some different ideas of what we can send to the inbox. And we were kind of brainstorming some different ideas. And I think one cool thing might be like an order completed, order tracking, different things like that. So what we want to do is we want to maybe look here, and we already have Segment IO. This is a Segment IO demo. So we have Segment IO events getting sent through Segment into Courier, and we've already configured Courier to get the Segment events. And that is as simple as going over to Segment and then plopping in your right key here. Obviously, we're not going to do that on stream, so we did it earlier.
Yeah. And if you're not sure how to do this part, we have a whole live stream from like a couple weeks ago that has Segment in its title that's dedicated to it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So what we can do here is we can search for analytics track, and we can basically find a whole bunch of different events that are getting sent. And I think that what we wanted to do is let's start with something simple, order completed. So here we can say whenever we have an order completed event, we'll just send a message to the inbox saying, hey, your order is complete, and maybe give them a link to that order so that if they come back to the site later, they don't have to click through a whole bunch of different things, and they'll have an inbox for their order completed.
I like that.
So let's go over to, well, first what we can do is we can basically go and let's open up a console over here, zoom into that one as well, because everything needs to be zoomed separately. And then let's go shopping. Okay.
Let's go shopping.
Let's add these shoes, and then let's go to checkout, and then let's check out as a guest, and Riley at supercoolmail.com.
And keep in mind that this is just a demo website, so the actual checkout functionality doesn't work.
And what I want to do here is just verify that we're actually getting the network call to segment is what I want to do here. So we can pay $20. And here we should be able to see the letter T somewhere. T. Maybe.
Is that like T for track?
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's go over to Courier and see if we're getting it over here. So let's refresh this. Courier will also have the list of the events here. And we will see product viewed.
So these are events from yesterday, which means it's definitely not loading in just yet.
Oh, I need to put the key because I reset my.
Yeah.
I had the key. Will you take the thing
You
else
have it.
so I can put it in? Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. Cool.
I reset.
You're good to go.
First, I forgot to do the live streams are fun.
Live streams are fun.
You put it in the Zoom chat yesterday. Will you send it to me again?
Yeah. I can send it to you again. And again, for context, it's because this is my segment account, so I'm gonna go ahead.
Actually, I was able to command Z that file. We're good to go.
You got it? Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so you can just share me again. Okay, so let's try that again. And then let's go back over to our checkout success. And if I refresh this page, cool. So now we see our T. We have our order complete here. And here's the data.
You updated the right key within Courier, right?
Yeah.
What did you? Okay, great.
And then here we will see that we have product viewed. So take a second to show up here. Okay, here.
But these are the ones from yesterday, right? No.
Yeah, but it keeps these linked automations on top.
Got it.
But
it's still from 51 minutes ago, so
yeah. So it definitely did send it if we're looking here, but it's not necessarily showing up in our list.
I wonder if my destination's enabled. Is this the same workspace and the same Courier API key that we had yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just try doing a viewed product, and we should get a product viewed. Let's go look over here.
Oh, are we using a test environment? Suhas is asking. No, it's production.
It might be the fact that they are linked to an automation already. Order completed.
Could you do me a favor and just send the Courier API key? I just want to do a quick sanity check and make sure that I have the same. Yeah.
It's in my VS Code one.
Okay. I've removed your screen. Not that it matters. We can rotate these keys after the stream as well.
Fun.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, do I have? No, I did learn that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I have a different API key. I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna go ahead and update my API key, which is within segment. So when you add Courier as a destination in segment, it'll ask for a Courier API key. And that's what I had wrong. Not sure why. But yeah. Let's maybe reload and try to add some more events.
Yeah, let's do the product viewed again. And then let's go to is my screen shared. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Still not working. Okay.
Product viewed.
It always gets me how these things work perfectly fine, like half an hour before a live stream.
Yeah.
And during the event, they just break. Okay.
It might have something to do with like this product view is the one that we're doing, and I did have an automation linked to it, and then I deleted the automation, so it might be having an issue with that. Let's Let me do something over here real quick. Oopsies. Okay.
While you're doing that, I don't know if people can tell, but my camera looks super lopsided, and I don't know how to fix it because my tripod's broken. And so now it just sort of always looks like everything's gonna start rolling down a hill in my room. That was just a very random side note that no one needed. Go ahead.
It's possible that this list is just not refreshing, and it might be because these are deleted automations. Unclear. Let's just try to fire one off and see if it works. So if we go to the automation designer, let's create a new one, and let's just do segment as our source, and we said order completed, and then we want to send, and we will send to refs.data.user_id, and let's actually create a new template. So let's go to designer, create notification, and do order completed. Actually use AI to do it because that would be cool.
Sure, yeah.
It's actually probably going to create something way bigger than we want for a okay, cool. So this is for email. We want to add a push channel here. And then here we can do order completed. And then from here, we have a bunch of different blocks we can choose from. So we want to do, let's just grab the second block. So we are pleased to inform you.
Oh, that was nice.
Order ID, I think it's going to be
yeah, so the AI just sort of like generates variables based off what it thinks you might need. In our case, we don't need to share an order ID, do we? Oh, you are gonna share. Okay, go ahead.
We can try to get that to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do that, and then we can go back to our automation, and then let's just refresh this guy so that we have the list, order completed, and then let's publish this, and then see what happens. One thing that we're going to have to do is make sure that we identify our user correctly. We have a user ID, and we can do that inside of our.
And this is important because we want to make sure that segment and courier are viewing the user as the same person, right?
Yeah. So the issue here is that if we were to go look at the order completed event here, the event that we're sending here doesn't have a user ID, right? And the question is do you want to send a user ID with every single order completed, or do you want to say, hey, you know what? I identified the user before this happened, and let me attach all of that data into the event, and then segment associates the event and the order. So it's kind of like a fancy thing to say, hey, all the events that happen after I do this identify associate with this user, instead of having to say every event identifies their user separately.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this will make sure that we have our Courier test as our user ID, and then we will, and it will do it basically whenever the page renders, which will kind of help us out there, and then we will have our order completed. So let's go and try and see if this will fire out. So let's add these cool shoes, and then let's check out on our page, Riley@mail.com. Payment info enter, checkout step completed, order completed. Okay. And then what we can do is we can go and back over to Courier. Let's just look at our logs and see. $931. Okay, so it looks like the event did not come through. At least as well.
I think we're gonna have to figure out what's wrong with this segment before we.
Yeah, okay. So segment does not seem to be wanting to work correctly right now. So go back to channels. The problem here is that our segment key, it's funny that it was working yesterday. Here is
I just grabbed the segment key from, I think I might have the wrong segment key again, so I'm going to try to save this again.
but where are you saving it to?
Within segment, sorry, the Courier API key. I just went into the workspace that you're in and I got it from the API keys page, and it looks different than the one that we had before. So I've re-enabled it. Do you mind trying one more time and just like clicking on the local app really quick?
Order completed. Cool. Actually, that
Oh,
worked.
sweet. No, that's from yesterday.
No, look right here.
Oh, you got the notification. Okay, sweet.
Cool. Order completed. All right, cool. So yeah, so there was just an API key problem there. Cool. So now we have our order completed. So now I want to do something a little bit cooler than that. And I want to use more of Courier to kind of show off how cool Courier can be. And the things that I have been thinking about is basically sending somebody a message that a product is on sale. And if we kind of do that, what we could do is we can look at our different track events that we have. And we have product clicked, added, removed. I think I want to do product viewed. Basically say that, hey, if I view a product, and then maybe I can then send everybody who's viewed that product a notification that says, hey, this product is on sale. Their inbox. So we can feed off of the product viewed event, and we can go into Courier and say, let's just make sure we call this order completed. And let's go over to our automations, create one, and let's do call this like product impression. And we want segment. We want to do product viewed. And then we want to, instead of sending, what we're going to do is we're going to update a profile. And what a profile is going to do is basically just say, hey, you viewed this product, and we're going to save it to your profile, which is basically kind of like a data bag for each user. And this is also going to be refs.data.user ID. And here we want to edit some JSON, and then syntax here, viewed product. Syntax here is a little fun. I think it's $ref.
I like how it's just like auto populating above. Like the last viewed profile object that you just added, it just showed up in the field above. But sorry, keep going.
Syntax here I need to.
Okay, yeah.
$ref, not refs. $ref, and then here we can just do data.properties, I think is what we would want to do here. And this should just take this properties is going to be the matching product that gets sent here. So this second argument to track is going to be the properties. And then we're going to basically say last viewed product. And we'll hit
so $ref is how Courier gets access to data from segment?
Yeah, it's basically saying, hey, go into your data bag and then use that reference to apply it to last viewed product.
Got it.
I think that's a way to explain that. Okay, so now if we view a product in here, we should be able to go ahead and click on these cool leopard sandals. See a track here, product viewed. This is the properties that we should have potentially access to. And let's go and look at our automation logs and see if we, March 1037, cool. So this was our update profile log. And then if we go over to users and we click on my user, we should be able to view last viewed product. Cool. So here's my last viewed product. And then from here, what we can do is we can do something kind of like, so now we have data in a user, and so we have like an intent, like an impression. And now let's say that the category of women, or let's say maybe the brand of Fila is on sale, right? So what we want to do here is we can go back to our users. We can create an audience. We could say that Fila lovers, right? We can create an audience, and then based on the audience, we can basically say that we'll parse through all of the different profiles in a workspace and basically create a dynamic list of users. So here we will say other, and then let me just keep another tab open so I can see my users data here, which is last viewed product.brand. Okay, add condition, other last viewed product.brand. Next is Fila. Calculator audience there. The Fila or Filas? Fila?
I think it's just Fila. Yeah.
Brand. Okay. Okay, cool. So it found one user, right? So now we have an audience that is all people who like Fila. And we could basically, anybody else who hits that condition and views that product, that will be part of that audience now. So now what we want to do is we want to send them a message and say, hey, Fila products are on sale. I don't necessarily know how to trigger a thing, but you could imagine, this product goes on sale. There's an event in your system that updates product, and then you could basically send an event to Courier either through Segment or manually calling it. But for what we're going to do for this one, just to get things done, is we are going to use our quick send API. So we'll go over to our designer, and then here we can make a quick send. And this quick send is really, really cool because, like one off, I don't want to make a template for this. I just want to let quickly know, hey, people who are online right now, there's Fila's on sale. So I can say Fila on sale and go, woo.
Ooh.
And you can search for Fila lovers. It automatically pops up. Fila lovers.
This is also really exciting because it's the first time we're showing both audiences and quick send on live stream. So
and inbox, right?
This. And inbox, that's true. Yeah, it's a lot of firsts.
so we're showing a lot of different Courier things here, and it's showing kind of the potential of what a notification as a service can do for your workflow. So routing here, we can send to our push channel. Make sure we add our provider as Courier. Save that, and then let's hit send, and then see if we get a message. Oh wait, hold on a second. What I didn't do. Hold on, let's
we got the message, which is
we got the message, but I want to show off the toast. So you notice that toast didn't pop up. We want a toast to pop up. Easy way to add toast is just to come over here and add toast, toast. I can type good, I promise. And we simply just add it under our provider, and then it is smart enough to listen to all the messages that come through. Can't resolve. What can't you resolve? I never installed Toast.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we'd installed it yet. If you follow our docs, I think it tells you to do all of this at the same time. So all of the code and everything will be placed together in there. And then Riley has written out the docs so that you can sort of see the Courier provider, the Courier inbox, and information about the Toast each separately as well.
Yeah, and they're separate because we notice that some people like to use Toast and some people don't. So we don't want to bloat somebody's app that doesn't want to use a Toast. So we kind of make them a little bit separate. Okay, so now we are back over here, and we have our inbox. These are cool because I can mark this as red. I can archive this, do a bunch of cool stuff.
I love the smiley face when you have no more notifications.
I know. Shout out to Bahag. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's go over here and let's send it again, and then cool. Fila's on sale. And then if we want,
Nice. I like that.
we could also add a link. So we could add a button and go now. URL there, and then we can hit send again. Well, actually, let's do it from we're on a different page. Okay. Let's send it one more time. Don't do this to your users, though. This is really okay. Now I can click on it, and it will load me over there. So that's kind of a cool way to send messages and basically be able to notify people relatively easily. If you look at our integration here, like if we look at our code changes here, really we added the inbox just with what 4 lines of code, and then here we had to fix our identify. We had to basically do our identify. Our identify wasn't happening. Usually when you have segment, every single time a user logs in or logs out, you want to call an identify. In this case, we don't have a log in or log out, so we're just identifying the user on every single render. And that is really all that we had to do. And then on the Courier side, just to kind of review everything, we had to install the Courier provider, and we had to install segment. We had to add our segment key here, and we had to add our segment key inside of segment. And then we were able to see a list of the different events coming through to verify that segment was actually sending us the data. After we were able to verify that we were getting the right events from segment, we were able to go and create an automation, first called order completed, just to test out how this is working. We could also do some different things like, add a delay step, which might be kind of cool to connect these two guys together. And then basically say, hey, maybe after 10 minutes, be like, hey, here's a coupon code, come buy some more stuff, right? And you could, think about doing something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Just sort of like build out this whole customer experience just with notifications.
Data user ID, and then this would be something like for designer, and then say new on code. Add Courier to that, and then say we are excited. Release new coupon code. And then from there, we could publish that, and then on our automations, we could new coupon code, and then basically be able to say, hey, after everybody completes an order, maybe this will have like a condition instead, and say, I think that we have the ability to add a condition somewhere, right?
I don't think I've played with conditions here before, but
we could
I think
go
ahead.
Potentially add like a condition up here and say, data dot profile, completed orders is equal to 1. So we only assign it to the first person after they've created an order, and everybody else gets ignored. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of control the flow and create different workflows for your user there.
That's really awesome.
That's kind of gist of it, and kind of just showing off a bunch of different cool parts of Courier, and trying to connect all of the dots, which I think is kind of shows the real power of Courier.
Awesome. I'm going to remove your screen from the screen. Thank you so much, Riley. That was really great. I love seeing Inbox in action. I think it's grown so much in the last year. And it's become ridiculously easy to use and just like install in like 5 minutes and be ready to go with like a full notification inbox and Toast. So thank you so much for working hard on this and demoing it to us today. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything you want to talk about?
Oh, where's Blue? Blue Bear.
Blue, we got to get Blue on screen. That's the only way people are going to be interested in this.
She walked over here for a second, and then I don't know.
We need to like hire Blue to join all of our live streams.
Yeah. No, that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charlotte said Blue Bear. Oh, so adorable. I actually, here's a question. How do you spell blue? Because there's like 5 different spellings that I've seen.
I just do BLU.
BLU. Okay, I spelled it wrong before. I spelled it with an E.
I spell it wrong all the time too. So it's fine.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Riley. Thanks, Charla, for managing our comments and everything. And thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Fuel Snable, for joining us. And Suhas for checking us out as well. And Maria for saying hello. And Tejas as well for saying hello. I'm sad there's not as many people today, so I'm going to hound people to join next time. But all right, hope you guys can watch this recording. Oh, also, if you're curious about preferences, we have a live stream from last week that talks all about user preferences, and you can sort of like pair inbox and preferences together if you want to make sure that users are able to really customize the notification experience for what they want. And then next week, we're going to be talking about Slack and Microsoft Teams notifications. So we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.